Okay, we are Perek Yudbet, Pasuk Kav Gimel. Adam Arum, a clever man, a shrewd man, like we addressed the Arum, right? About the Nachash, yes? Kose Da'at, covers, hides his intellect. Velev Kesilim, and the heart of the doer, of the fool, Yikra Ivelet, will call for folly. So just to give a little bit of flavor before we touch the Gaon on the terminologies here. The difference between a Ksil and an Evil, yes, is that the Evil lives a life of doubts. He's always in Sfikot. He never has clarity on what he knows. He never ever has clarity or psakim, or clear halacha in front of him. So he's always in the doubt. He's always in confusion. That's the Evil. The Ksil, yes, the doer, is someone that has knowledge, that knows the halacha, that knows what's right and what needs to be done, but yet he's so consumed by his desires and by his inclination and his instincts that he prefers to live in the doubt and pretend he doesn't know. Right? So again, so the Evil is missing clarity of Chokhmah. The Ksil has Chokhmah, but it chooses to live in a blurry situation, blurry life, so that he can satisfy his desires. So back now to the Pasuk. Adam Arum, the clever man, the shrewd man, right? The man that has the ability to bring forward different ideas, different facets of a situation. Kose da'at, hides his da'at. Meaning he doesn't show off. He's very humble about it. And why is he called an Arum? Because he's not detected by the people around him to be identified as somebody shrewd, somebody that knows. So when you don't expose, when you don't show off your knowledge, so in a sense that's orma, right? That's being clever. That's being a little that's being shrewd, because people don't know really how to deal with you. They don't know what to expect from you, right? So you will see their game, you will see their behavior, and you'll be able to identify and detect if they are honest and good people, or the other way. We will go back in a minute to the choice that Shlomo HaMelech to use the word Adam versus Ish or Enosh, like we've learned in the past. So that's Adam. Velev Kesilim Yikra Ivelet. The heart of the doer calls Ivelet. What does it mean? Ikra ivelet. He says because the ksil knows, yes, we said that the ksil has chokhmah, but he will instinctively lev ksil, the heart of the ksil, the instinct of the ksil is to always correct, to call on the ivelet, call on the folly, call on the doubt. The ksil will always try to go for, to be in an environment of doubt so that he can satisfy his own instinct and his own desires. Meaning the ksil puts himself in situations where things are not so clear. Although he knows he's putting himself in this situation, and he knows he's jeopardizing his position, but it's convenient and comfortable for him in order to please his own desires. So there's a major difference between the Adam Arum and the Lev and the Ksil. The Ksil puts himself in a situation of confusion in order, yes, to take advantage of that situation, where the Adam Arum creates a situation where he is thought to be someone that might not know, in order to confuse his opponents or the people that he's around. And that gives him the edge and the benefit of controlling the situation. Yeah, so that's the difference between the Adam Arum versus the Lev Kesilim. And obviously it's expressed in the behavior of the two. One wants to show off that he thinks he knows everything. So as soon as he has something to say, he's just going to go and say it. That's the ksil. Yes. Even though he doesn't have full control and full mastering of the knowledge, but it's enough to create confusion and to pretend. Versus the Adam Arum, right? He knows he has clear knowledge of the information. He masters the information, but he hides it for himself. The Gaon dives into a Kabbalistic explanation of that pasuk. And he says, in the last two prakim from Perek Yud Aleph and Perek Yud Bet, Shlomo HaMelech brings 3 times the word Adam. One is in Perek Yud Aleph pasuk Zayin. Okay, the pasuk says, Adam Rasha Tova Tikva. And then we have the pasuk that we saw earlier in this perek, pasuk Gimel, אם אני לא טועה, רק שנייה. לא ייכון אדם ברשע ושורש צדיקים בא למות. And then we have our pasuk, Adam Arum kose da'at. And he wants to say the following. He says these 3 types of Adam are referring to the Adam that we have learned in Perek Gimel. If you recall Perek Gimel, Pasuk Lamed Gimel, Pasuk Yud Gimel, Mechila, Shlomo HaMelech says the following. Ashre Adam matzah chokhmah, ve'adam yafik tevuna. And the Gaon there, if you recall, spoke about different types of Adam. He says there's three types of Adam. You have the Adam representing the Chokhmah. You have the Adam representing the Bina. And then you have, which is Adam, which represents the source of the Neshama from the Chokhmah from the Olam HaBri'ah, the Bina from the Olam HaYetzirah. And then you have Umotar Adam min HaBehema Ayin. Then you have a third, which is essentially the Da'at. He says here, in those three Adam that we're talking about, yes, it's referring to the Madrigata Adam, yes, that we're talking about. But the definition of Adam in the Chokhmah, in the Bina, and in the Da'at is the lower version of the connection a man has to these B'chinot. The higher being Ish, and the lowest being Enosh. Adam is essentially the lowest version of man that has access to Chokhmah Bina V'Da'at. Meaning, Adam has the definition of the word Adam. It's someone that has a connection, yes, an access to the B'china of Chokhmah, to the B'china of Bina, to the B'china of Da'at, but does not master that connection and that source of knowledge. So says Shlomo HaMelech, says the Gaon, that Adam Arum koseh da'at, and when your relationship as to the Chokhmah and the Bina and the Da'at is begeder Adam, when you have access but you don't master, you're not familiar enough, you're not comfortable enough, koseh da'at, hide your Da'at, meaning don't expose it. You cannot expose it. Why? Because you're not so knowledgeable. You're not so mastering the information, right? And that's how you actually protect yourself and position yourself to be in a position of strength around others, because you have enough chokhmah, yes, to be called an Adam, but not enough to be a Ish. And he says these three kisuim, these three hiding, we find them, the Zohar Chadash brings it. Right? Avraham Avinu, when he's going to Egypt, he reveals how beautiful Sarah is. Mashma that what? That before that, it was hidden. The same thing after when he goes into Egypt. He says, Imrina achotiat. Please say that you're my sister. Hide again. So we see that when you're exposed to Mitzrayim, when you're exposed to a surrounding, to Yetzer Hara, to the Klipot, be careful. Because if you're mitgare, if you expose your chokhmah, if you show off your chokhmah, and you're not in real control of it, you trigger klipot, you trigger the koach alotov, you trigger the negative forces, right? The negative energy to come and essentially says the Zohar, fill in the void of what you pretend to have but you don't have. You understand? It's very important what I just said. If you pretend, if you show off about the knowledge, about the Torah, whatever it is, yes, about something you pretend to know, when you know yourself, you don't master it. What you bring upon yourself is that now, whatever information you don't know, that void gets filled in with klipot, with negative energy. And now what you know, you know. But what you pretend you knew and you didn't know, you for sure not going to know it, because now you have klipot that are going to push away and that want to create a negative force pushing you away from that knowledge. And why is that? Because you took advantage, you brought, you used you use your pride and your ego, right, on something you don't own, something you don't master. And says the Gaon, those three behinot of Adam, the Chokhmah, the Binah, and the Da'at, or the access, the connection to Chokhmah, Binah, Da'at in the behinah of Adam, can have each one, that connection, had what are called Hayot HaKodesh. The Hayot HaKodesh, meaning the Hayut HaKodesh. Your connection to the Chokhmah, your connection to the Binah, and your connection to the Adam and to the Dat as the Adam, that connection is like an angel that fuels, yes, that keeps that bond. That bond is protected, is kept alive by what we call the Hayot HaKodesh. Those three Hayot HaKodesh. The Hayot HaKodesh, the Chaya, which is the Chayut between the Adam and Chokhmah. Another Chaya, which is the Chayut, yes, the lifeline between Adam and Binah. And the same thing with that. And all three converge to what? To the body. Yes. So essentially we have Guf, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. Yes. Neshama is the Chokhmah, the Ruach is the Binah, and the Nefesh is the Da'at. Yes. So, and all this converge and needs to exist and reside within the Adam. That's Kosei Da'at. The Kisui is the Guf, right? Is your behavior. Hide your behavior should hide what? The Adam. The Adam. What is the Adam? The Adam is the Chayot HaKodesh, the Chayut that defines you as Adam and not Enosh. Because we know that Enosh is the lowest, right? Is a disconnect from the Dor Enosh Avodah Zarah started. We've learned that in the past, right? So Adam is the first type of connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Zohar Kadosh, this is why, if you know, and you know the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that rule over the Olamot, right? The Olam HaAtzilut is Yud Ke Vav Ke with Yudim. Bria is Yud Ke Vav Ke with an Aleph in the Vav and the Yud in the Hez. The Yetzirah is Yudin Be'alfin, right? He Aleph, Vav, Aleph, Vav, He Aleph. We have three Aleph, says the Zohar, representing the three Aleph of Adam, right? Which is the lowest level. And that converges into Olam HaMaaseh, which is the body, right? Olam HaAsiyah, which is the body. So you have Neshama Atzilut, Ruach sorry, neshama atzilut, bina chokhma atzilut, sorry, bina bria, da'at yetzira, okay, and that converge into the body, which or you have olam asiya body, olam yetzira nefesh, olam bria ruach, olam atzilut neshama. That's how they are aligned. And that's the sword of Adam Arum, Koseh Da'at. The big hidush here is the exposure one puts himself in when they pretend to know something they don't know and take pride from it. Any question on that pasuk? Okay. Pasuk Kaf Dalet. Yad Harutzim Timshol. The hand of the Harutz. Harutz is the diligent, Timshol rules. Uremiya Tiye Lamas. And the hand of the negligent, yes, will be subject to taxes. Who is the Harutz is exactly the opposite, right, of the lazy. Somebody that is Harutz is somebody that does his job the right way, to its full extent, diligently, and honestly. And it's the Malbim says a Harut is someone that understands that there is no outcome without effort. Meaning, you need to work hard to see results. Betmimut, beyosher. So the Yad Harutzim, the hand of the Harutzim, Timshol rule. Says the Gaon, the Harutz in this case is the Harutz la'avodat Hashem. Something that is sharp and bully in his avodat Hashem, even though it seems like he's living a life of tsar, of sadness, of pain, of challenges in this world. At the end, le'atid lavo, in the olam ha'emet, timshol, his hand will be on. He will have the upper hand. He will be the one ruling. However, the ones that pretend and fooled and lied and manipulated and seemed to be the ones that had the better end of the story here on this world, and the smooth life and comfortable. At the end, they will have to pay tax. What does it mean they have to pay tax? They will be like the Eved. They will be like subject, right, to punishment, to subjection, because they chose a life of lie versus a life of emet. Says the Gaon, the Remiyah usually is why does he grow? And why is he able to create value so quickly without efforts? Is because he takes advantage of the people around him. He's someone that will know how to manipulate situations, yes, and make people do for him what he needs to do, find shortcuts. And lechaura, it seems like it works because he sees results, yes, but it's all founded on sheker. And at the end, there's a price for that behavior. In addition to that, the Rambam wants to say is that Shlomo Melech in Pasuk Kav Dalet is coming to give an advice to the Adam Arum of Pasuk Kav Gimel, and tell the Adam Arum that if it's okay that you have connection and you have knowledge and that you have that relationship to the Chokhmah, the Binah, and the Da'at, yes. But if you have your charutz, if you're diligent and you're engaged and ongoing, yes, with honesty and your and you're wholehearted in your avodat Hashem, at the end yad timshol, right? Your yad, your hand of the Torah, timshol, will be able to rule. And you don't have to be in a room anymore. You don't have to be hidden or because you're scared to be exposed to the klipot. Your yad, your Torah will be moshelet, will control, yes, the relationship, the connection to the chokhmah, the binah, and the da'at, and you will not be exposed to the influence of the klipot in regards of the portion of knowledge that you pretend to know that you don't know, because you're just not going to pretend anymore.
Right. Can you please repeat what the Gaon was explaining there in that pasuk? I didn't understand it.
Which part you didn't understand?
You said you were saying about towards the beginning when you explained that the seed is talking about someone who chose a life of lie and not emet. And then
Yes,
you
the
explained
remiyah.
how the go yeah.
Okay. Again, the charutz is the one that lives a life of diligence, of work ethics, and emet. So at the end, yes, even though it seems like he's suffering in this world and he doesn't have it easy, le'atid lavo, in the world to come, he will be moshel, he will be on top. Versus the remiyah within the mechanevs, right? The one that lives a life of a lie, that takes advantage, that manipulates, yes, that looks for shortcuts. He might be, yes, looking like someone that has success and has it easy and in this world, but at the end, yes, at the end he will be exposed to mass, like kivyachol, to mass, to taxes, which means lechaora, like to punishment.
Thank you.
Can we continue? Any question on that pasuk? Okay. דאגה בלב איש יש חנה. If you have anxiety, yes, in your heart, throw it down, push it back, break it. ודבר טוב ישמחנה. And good words or good things, good words, ישמחנה, will make it happy, will rejoice the heart. Says the Gaon, I think a lesson that is relevant to all and applicable to all. He says like this: when a person has the agot, when a person has worries, when a person has anxiety, that the anxiety, by definition, breaks breaks down the heart of a person. His emotion brings the emotion, the nature, the spirit of the person down dramatically. So again, anxiety and stress that essentially is coming from doubt or apprehending of something that is an unknown, right? Why do you stress? Because there is a situation that seems like it might go the wrong way. Yes, it didn't go the wrong way fully, because if it did go the wrong way, then there's no stress. It's just the reality. Yes, but the stress and the anxiety comes from the unknown of a situation that seems to be like it can go sideways. That doubt translates in a person into an emotion that's called anxiety. Yes, that emotion, says the Gaon, crushes the spirit of the person to bring him down to the lowest level. What we can call today as depression. Says Shlomo HaMelech, Vedavar tov yisamechena. What is the cure to anxiety? What is the solution to depression? Devarim tovim vetanchumim. When you speak good words, when you spend the time to uplift the person with words of encouragement, yes, again and again, says Shlomo HaMelech, says the Gaon, yes, you now neutralize the emotion of anxiety, and you allow the person to rise up to his true nature and equilibrium in order to now deal with the situation with a leveled head and clarity, versus dealing with a situation from a place of weakness, darkness, and vulnerability. More so, he says, Shlomo HaMelech says, "V'davar tov yisamechena," and we know, "En tov el Torah." Says the Gaon, Shlomo HaMelech is telling us what Chachamim have taught us. כל המקבל על עצמו עול תורה, פורקים ממנו הדאגות, right? Whoever takes upon himself the burden of Torah. What does it mean to take upon yourself the burden of Torah? Whoever takes upon himself to learn the Torah, even though it is a burden, even though it's hard to understand, even though it's hard to accept, even though it will put you in an uncomfortable position to have to change your behavior, change your lifestyle, because now you're learning the Torah, right? So some people say, I don't ask questions so that you don't have to change. Yeah, better not know. Yeah, so why? Because you don't want to carry the burden of the Torah. So you say, I'd rather not know. But if you are ready to carry the burden of Torah, I say, no, I want to know. It's uncomfortable, it's difficult, but I'm willing to carry that burden. Porkim mimeno hadeagot. HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes away all the weight of the fears, anxiety, and doubts, and carries it himself. Meaning he alleviates from the person those emotions that will confuse him and put him in a place of vulnerability and darkness. So here we have, yes, the way the Gaon explains it, a segula, black on white, on how to deal with anxiety and how to deal with depression. To be ready to take upon yourself the uncomfortable feeling of learning the Torah. It's crazy when you think about it, because when you understand what the Torah is, we should all want to learn it and embrace it and dance with it. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. But here there's a midah keneged midah. Why a person doesn't want to engage? Because he doesn't know the Torah, right? So for him, for that person, the Torah is what? It's just a burden. More restrictions, more problems, more you're not allowed, more life, changing decisions, behaviors. Who wants all this? So the approach that the person has to the Torah is a negative approach, is a person without any knowledge, right? So when a person, and what is the anxiety? Anxiety is the lack of knowledge of a situation, right? That paralyzes you. That's what anxiety comes from, like we explained, from the doubt of a situation that can go sideways. So you allow, yes, the unknown to paralyze you and bring anxiety and doubt and depression. Yes, but you don't allow the unknown of the Torah to heal you. So when a person is ready to carry the unknown of what the Torah can have on him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you choose my unknown, I'll make sure to alleviate the weight of all the other unknowns. And therefore, you are now protected from all the collateral damages of the unknown. Anxiety, depression, stress, fear, and so on and so forth. This is midah keneged midah, segula, black on white, on how to deal with sadness, anxiety, and depression. And Chachamim said the other way around. All Torah. And whoever chooses not to carry the burden of the Torah, meaning somebody that doesn't want to engage with that unknown, that weight. So not nimlo alav. So we put on him, meaning we reinstate, yes, on him all the doubts. Now you're in charge of your doubts. Yes. So essentially the question is, do I want to deal with my own doubts and all its implications? Or no, I want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to deal with all the doubts so that it doesn't affect me. And then what do I do for that? I carry the doubt of where the Torah will bring to me. Now, anybody that actually did that or that engaged with the Torah, anybody that engaged in the Torah the right way without craziness or without, will tell you that at the end, it's the most pleasant surprise, is the most amazing journey, and nobody will change it for any amount in the world to go backwards. No one that was exposed to Torah in the healthy way will tell you that. So essentially, it's the Yetzer Hara, right? It's that comfort zone that creates that fear of what to expect in the Torah and what implication it will in my life, that freezes the person from engaging and carrying that burden. Yes, very deep limud. Any question on that pasuk? Pasuk Chaf Vav. Yater mere'ehu tzaddik. Milashon latour. You have to be careful. Yater can be more, but latour, it means also that what the Meragelim did. Latour et haaretz, to spy, to go and spy the land. Yater mere'ehu tzaddik. The one that spies, and we have to understand, right? His friend is a tzaddik. V'derech reshaim tat'em, and the ways of the reshaim mislead. Says the Gaon Davar Nifla. He says that tzaddikim, the definition of a tzaddik is to be humble. Yeah, you don't want to show off. You don't want to pretend. You don't want people to know what you really do. So you hide. Yeah, the less people know, the better it is. So your tzidkut and your greatness and your behavior is not really detectable easily by people. But somebody that wants to be a tzaddik and wants to become a tzaddik and go on the derech of Hashem, he should go and spy the tzaddikim. Go and learn about them. See how they behave. Even though they hide, look in what they do. Be attentive. And that's how you become a tzaddik. That's the shimush talmidei chachamim. Go and learn the behavior and care about it. Now, latour, yes, to spy. What does it mean? Latour et haaretz. It means to go and educate yourself in detail. That's latour. The Meragelim had to go to Eretz Israel, right, and spy Eretz Israel, and come back with what? Come back with detailed information on the behavior of the people, the 7 people that lived in Eretz Israel at the time. Their location, how they are protected, how they behave, what's their army like. If you want to grow as a tzaddik, care to learn about the tzaddikim the same way. As much as you can. And the more detail you have on their behavior, and the more information you gain to emulate that behavior and grow yourself to become a tzaddik. This is why the Sipurei Tzaddikim are such an essential part of the growth of a person. Yes? And I think I brought it in the past that the Chafetz Chaim, Friday morning, after Seder Aleph, he would have a Seder where he told his students Sipurei Tzaddikim, stories of Tzaddikim. Now you may say, okay, so it's nice to tell stories. No. When you learn about the Tzaddikim, when you read about the books of the Tzaddikim, it gives you that access, right, to their behavior, for you to now emulate in your own way their behavior and develop your own growth. That's the ma'ala, that's the power of the knowledge you get from the tzaddikim. And that's also shimush talmidei chachamim. That's the importance of being close to the tzaddikim and the talmidei chachamim, so that you can be exposed to all this. However, v'derech reshaim tataim, right? But the reshaim, they act, the way spontaneously, the way they want. They're so out there that anybody can learn from them, right? And that's what can bring a person to make mistake and sway from his way. That's the Gaon comes and says that Shlomo Melech is coming to warn us from being exposed to the behavior of the Reshaim, to warn us who we surround ourselves with, near who do we live, who do we expose our children to, because the more whoever you expose your children to will have an influence on them. Yes, so if your children are exposed and are around people that don't have the right behavior and don't have the right midot, then don't be surprised if that's how they grow. Yes, and they pick up on that. And if your children are around tzaddikim, around midot tovot, that's what they're going to learn. This is why the chinuch, the education, the school, yes, the friends, and the environment of the children is so critical. If for adults we pick up, kal vachomer and ben beno shel kal vachomer, right? Children pick up. So here Shlomo HaMelech is coming to tell us how, the direction we should take and on who we should focus versus who we have to be scared of and run away from. This is essentially, yes, what Avraham and Yaakov, right, told respectively Avraham to Lavan and Yaakov to Esav. Yes, Lavan said, Avraham told Lavan, if you go right, I go left, and if you go left, I go right. Yaakov tells Esav, don't worry, we don't need to meet. You go, I go very slow. What did Yaakov was telling Esav? Go your way, let me go my way. We have a fundamental responsibility for our own growth and obviously for the growth of our family to make sure we go away from the wrong influence and we go closer to the right influence. So we will hold here Be'ezrat Hashem. We just finished Pasuk Kavav, She'ata Dishmaya. Bli neder, next shiur, Ratzon will be able to be mevarech on Perek Yud Bet.
Beautiful, eh?
Be'ezrat Hashem.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Be'ava rabba.
Yeah.